Hello, good afternoon. Wanted to come talk to you about Peter walking on the water. I was driving home this afternoon, was thinking about this story. Yep. It's kind of interesting. I back in the day, there in Dallas, Texas, there on Central Expressway, the Biblical Arts Museum used to have the Day of Pentecost painted, and my dad would always get a big kick because Peter was in the foreground of that painting, and it was so big of a painting that the characters, Peter's in particular, was life size. So Dad always got a big kick out of it because the painter painted Peter with red hair. So I always, I guess, looked at Peter as a kind of like my dad in a way. Is kind of neat. Dad always had a sense of humor, and when I read this story about Peter walking on the water, I can only imagine. Here we got big miracle, 5 loaves, 5 fishes. I'll talk about that in another video. That's a good story in and of itself. But they're crossing the sea. And the Bible says they were in the midst of the sea, and the winds were boisterous, and it was, everything was just going nuts out there. They're out there in the middle of the sea, and waves and wind, just going crazy. And they look up, it's nighttime, and they look up and they see Jesus walking on the water to them. Of course, they think, oh no, it's a ghost. It's a apparition or something scary. And they were all afraid. And I can only imagine Peter sitting there. All right, I'm gonna call his bluff. I'm gonna ask him, if it's you, Lord, you bid me come. See what he does. Of course, Jesus kind of, come on. Peter gets out that boat, and I can only imagine the look on his face as he's walking on water over towards Jesus. He's in the middle of a miracle. I mean, how many people walk on water? Here he is in the middle of his miracle, enjoying himself for a brief moment in time. And he gets to looking around. All the turmoil that was going on, the sea just churning under his feet, the wind tossing everything around, the waves crashing against the boat. And here he is walking on the water. And he gets to paying attention to the things going on around him instead of the miracle that he's in the middle of. Instead of looking to Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith. And he gets all concerned about everything going on. And he starts sinking. In the middle of his miracle, he starts sinking because he got distracted by all the stuff around him, all the things that are going on. And he cries out, Lord, save me. Of course, Jesus, being the compassionate God that he is, reaches out and pulls him up. They get to the boat, and the winds cease, the waves calm, and everybody's kind of freaking out, and they of a truth. Surely thou art the Son of God. I mean, they fell down on their face and worshiped him. And I sit there and I look at that, and I read that story, and I think about miracles that have happened in my life. I could only imagine what would have happened if Peter would have stayed the course, not been distracted by the surroundings and the world around him, all the trouble that was going on, all the wind, the waves, the turmoil in the sea. If he'd only paid attention to what was going on. What would have, what more could have happened? And I think about that, and I try to remember that when I'm in the middle of a miracle. Don't get distracted. Don't be going down there in the miracle and you're in the middle of it. You're praising God. You're worshiping God. You're basking in His glory, and then you go squirrel and get distracted and start sinking. My friend, when you're in the middle of a miracle, enjoy it. Don't be distracted by the world around you. Don't be distracted by the wind. Because the person that you should be focusing on, he controls the wind. As the story shows, when he gets in the boat, the wind's calm and the sea's calm. It's a good thing. It's a good story. Read it again. Let it impact your life. Hope this was a blessing to you. Hope you have a great day. Be well, my friend.